Welcome to the Museum of Corporate Deception, where words are weapons and your trust is the target of every single legal department. Beginning with number one, genuine leather, a label that sounds like a promise of quality but actually signifies the absolute lowest grade. You imagine a majestic cow, but the reality is a collection of discarded scraps, industrial glue, and a very thick coat of paint. Genuine leather is the mystery meat of the fashion industry. A processed skin hot dog made from the bits that nobody actually wanted. They grind up the leftover fibers and press them into a sheet, creating a Frankenstein monster that masquerades as a luxury material today. To hide the imperfections of the scrap heap, they sand the surface smooth and emboss it with a fake, mechanical grain pattern now. The law allows this deception because technically it originated from an animal, even if the soul of the material was long ago destroyed. High-end brands use full-grain leather, the filet mignon of hides, while the genuine tag is a budget warning for the uninformed consumer. It feels like plastic because it is mostly plastic, a chemical shell designed to protect a fragile core that will eventually peel away. Within a few months, the industrial glue fails, and the surface begins to crack, revealing the cheap and fibrous trash hidden underneath now. Ted, the CEO, laughs as he attaches a premium price tag to industrial waste, exploiting your deep desire for authenticity and style. You pay for the history of craftsmanship but receive a landfill in disguise, a product destined to fail long before the credit bill. Real quality is silent and durable, while corporate deception needs a giant, golden, genuine tag to scream for your temporary blind trust. Next time you see the word genuine, run the other way and look for the full grain that actually respects your money. Always remember, in the corporate dictionary, genuine is just a legal synonym for trash, a calculated lie designed to empty your wallet. Advancing to number two, where every bottle of cleaner promises miraculous 99% protection while hiding a much darker and industrial truth. Meet Ted, the master of the rigged laboratory, staging a theatrical fight against the weakest and most vulnerable germs he could find. In this perfect, sterile world, every surface is smooth and warm, creating a paradise for chemical killers that fail in actual reality. What about the remaining 0.1%? They are the survivors, evolved ninjas waiting for their chance to strike back hard. You spray and wipe instantly, but the label requires minutes of contact, a legal loophole that ensures the product never actually works. Lab results are a total fantasy, a controlled experiment that bears absolutely no resemblance to the sticky, chaotic mess of your kitchen. There are millions of bacterial species, yet the test only targets a few, allowing the state to approve a total corporate deception. Sarah cleans her home with religious devotion, unaware that she is just buying a chemical placebo designed to comfort her worried mind. Ted counts his profit from your fear of the invisible, selling a shield of safety that is as thin as cheap paper. Overusing these chemicals only breeds stronger monsters, creating a world where the germs learn to eat the very poison we buy today. The advertising budget is 10 times larger than the research department, proving that the image of health is more valuable than health. We have forgotten that some bacteria are our friends as the corporation tries to sterilize our world into a very profitable void. In just a few hours, the surviving 0.1% multiply by millions, reclaiming their territory while you sleep in total peace. It is a chemical theater of the absurd, a legal way to sell water and alcohol as a holy weapon against nature. Always remember that 99.9 is just a marketing prayer, a calculated lie designed to clean your wallet, not your home. Approaching number three, the empty hormone promise, where corporations legally charge you extra for following a law that already exists since forever. You grab the expensive package that proudly declares no hormones added, feeling like a superior, healthy guardian of your innocent young family. Ted, the CEO, hides behind a calendar from 1950, laughing because federal law banned poultry hormones over 75 years ago. It is like advertising arsenic-free water or no uranium bread, claiming a moral virtue for simply following a basic and mandatory legal requirement. The law requires a tiny disclaimer saying hormones are prohibited anyway, but they print it so small that your eyes will fail. They shout the virtue and whisper the truth, a legal deception that turns a federal standard into a premium and very expensive. They charge you extra money for their compliance with the law, like a taxi driver charging you extra for not driving blindfolded. The bird in the cheap bag and the bird in the premium bag are identical twins, separated only by a clever, deceptive. They market the legal baseline as if it were a massive breakthrough, exploiting your natural fear of industrial chemicals and modern science. Save your hard-earned money and realize that the government already did the work for you, even if the corporations never actually. Knowledge is the only thing that is truly hormone-free, a mental shield against the greedy tactics of the modern food industry today. They profit from your lack of historical knowledge, selling you back the safety that was already guaranteed by decades of federal regulations. The floor of the law is the ceiling of their marketing, a beautiful lie that turns a requirement into a luxury choice. There is no extra virtue in their package, only the same industrial reality wrapped in a more expensive and very clever label. Always remember, when a label brags about following the law, they are just trying to trick you into paying for their basic. Entering number 4, plant-based junk food, where the term healthy is legally murdered and replaced by a clever green marketing halo. Oreos are technically plant-based, made of wheat and palm oil, which means you are legally eating a salad every time you snack. Corn syrup comes from corn, and corn is a plant, so by corporate logic, your sugary soda is just a vegetable smoothie. They advertise plant-based gummy bears as a healthy alternative, while the first 2 ingredients are just different types of processed, legal sugar. The healthy plant-based cookie often contains more fat and more sugar than the regular version, but it has ancient grains on front. Ted paints the box green and uses a rustic font to trick your brain into ignoring the reality of the nutrition label. You could deep fry cotton candy and call it plant-based because cotton comes from plants, a legal absurdity that the authorities completely ignore. The front of the package is a fairy tale, but the nutrition label on the back is the one place they cannot lie. We are trapped by our own good intentions, believing that a label can replace the common sense of knowing what real food. They wash their industrial waste in the colors of nature, a legal deception that turns chemical food into a spiritual, healthy choice. Throw away the green boxes and look at the truth of the ingredients, because a plant-based cookie is still just a cookie. An apple doesn't need a label to tell you it is a plant, a simple reality that the corporations truly hate to admit. They bank on your desire to be better, turning your health goals into a profitable stream of high-calorie, plant-based, legal, and processed junk. Walk away from the labels and seek the reality of the earth, where the sun provides the only nutrition facts you actually need. Always remember, plant-based is a marketing term, not a health claim, a legal way to sell you sugar wrapped in green paper. Approaching number 5, the free trial trap, where corporations legally pick your pocket with your own forgotten, digital, and silent permission. First, they hit you with the magic word free, a siren song that leads you directly toward the rocky shores of debt. Just for verification, they whisper, knowing those 16 digits are a legal contract to bill your future self for their corporate profit. They bank on your human psychology, knowing we remember our ex's birthday far better than when a 7-day trial actually ends. They count on your silence and busy life, turning your forgetfulness into a monthly subscription that you never truly intended to keep. Trying to cancel is like breaking up with a ghost. You click 1,000 buttons and survive 100 pop-ups just to leave. They make the sign up a single click, but the exit a 50-page odyssey, a legal exploitation of your time and frustration. It is all perfectly legal, buried in a terms of service agreement written in a dead language only lawyers and demons understand. You scroll through your statement and see the ghosts of trials past, small bites taken out of your life by a machine. We are chained to our own convenience, victims of a system that turns a moment of curiosity into a lifetime of unwanted payments. They cast the line and we swallow the bait, proving the word free is the most expensive word in the human language. Set your alarms and guard your numbers, because corporations are waiting for you to fall asleep so they can take everything. Sometimes the only way to win is not to play, to keep your digits to yourself and refuse the bait of convenience. They harvest the money of the busy and forgetful, turning your digital fatigue into a sustainable and very profitable revenue stream. Always remember, a free trial is just a slow-motion bill, a legal trap designed to harvest your gold while you sleep. Moving to number 6, where the outlet mall serves as a theater of false discounts and prices that never actually existed in reality. Sarah gazes at a designer price tag, seeing a massive 70% reduction from an original cost that was completely made up. That designer jacket was never $400. It was born to be cheap, manufactured specifically for the illusions of the outlet. Corporations are legally allowed to invent any original number, transforming a regular price into a miracle of 70% off savings instantly. Same famous name, but a much lower budget. The materials are thinner and the designs are simpler. A straight-to-DVD version of luxury. You would laugh if I sold a $500 sandwich for 10, but you cheer when a designer brand performs the same trick. We fall for the anchor price, forgetting that the real value of an object is not what they claim you are saving. The quality is a ghost of the original, a legal way to sell inferior goods under the protection of a famous logo. Every outlet store is a stage where you play the role of the lucky shopper, while the corporation plays the house always. You cannot get a discount on a price that never existed. A beautiful legal fiction designed to loosen your hold on money. They have separate production lines for the poor who want to look rich. A legal exploitation of our deep human social desires. We spend money, we don't have to save money, we aren't actually saving. A perfect loop of corporate greed and consumer stupidity. Don't be fooled by the logo, because the soul of the product was left behind at the regular store's very high price. The savings evaporate in the first rain, proving that a fake discount is the most expensive thing you can ever buy nowadays. Always remember, the red line through the high price is a legal lie, a visual anchor designed to drown your common sense. Entering number 7, where a 0 on the label is a mathematical lie designed to hide the slow poison of hidden trans fats. The front claims total purity, but a secret rule allows them to round down any amount under half a gram to absolute 0. If you eat many servings of 0, you quickly discover that 0 plus 0 plus 0 eventually equals a very real heart. Look for partially hydrogenated oils on the back, the chemical fingerprints of a trans fat at the front of the box legally. You could blow your entire daily health limit on a snack that proudly claimed to contain absolutely nothing bad for your soul. The American Heart Association has a limit, but the corporate world has a loophole, proving that profit is always thicker than blood. Ted, the CEO, erases the reality of the ingredients to maintain the health illusion, turning chemical waste into a guilt-free legal treat. One serving is a calculated lie, a whole box is a tragedy, and the law is the accomplice that allowed the crime. Trust the small list of words on the back because the giant numbers on the front were written by a marketing team. We are zombies of the 0, consuming the absence of things while the reality of the poison slowly builds up inside us. They sell you a feeling of safety while delivering a product of danger, a legal dance between your health and their profit. Reject the empty promises of the front label and seek the truth in the chemical reality of the tiny, hidden ingredients list. Your heart knows the difference between 0 and reality, even if the legal system has forgotten how to count to 1 today. In the legal void between 0 and half a gram, the corporations find their fortune and you find your slowly failing health. Always remember that 0 is just a legal opinion, a calculated rounding error that turns a heart attack into a healthy snack. Entering number 8, where the phrase up to becomes a ladder to nowhere, built on the rare exceptions of a lucky few. You enter the store chasing a bargain, only to find the massive discount applies to a single, ugly, and unwanted raccoon sweater. As long as one item in the entire warehouse hits the maximum number, the whole deceptive claim remains perfectly legal and valid. Internet companies are masters of this game, advertising speeds that only exist at 3 in the morning while hugging your digital router. They sell you the maximum possibility while delivering the minimum reality, a legal bridge between your wallet and their empty promises. Job ads promise up to $1,000 a week, referring to a mythical employee from 5 years ago who worked 80 hours. I am legally up to 7 feet tall when standing on a ladder, a technical truth that hides a very short reality. They market the exception as if it were the rule, banking on the human hope that we might be the lucky one. Manage your expectations by realizing that the maximum number is a ghost, a visual lure designed to pull you into the trap. The truth is always in the fine print, whispering that the bold numbers on the front are just a beautiful legal fantasy. The ceiling is a lie designed to keep you from looking at the floor, where the real value of the offer lives. Up to is corporate code for a disappointment you were warned about, a tiny legal anchor that keeps their lies afloat. If it is technically possible under some impossible circumstance, it is legally true, transforming rare miracles into common everyday marketing claims. We fall for the high numbers, forgetting the floor is much closer to the reality of the service we actually receive today. Always remember that up to is the legal permission to disappoint you, a verbal shield that protects the greedy from the honest. Entering number 9, where the math of nutrition is a clever game of shadows, designed to hide the weight of your choices. The label screams a low number, but the fine print reveals a serving size that only a disciplined robot could ever follow. Who eats exactly 15 chips and then stops? The system counts on your lack of discipline to hide the true cost of. That healthy water bottle contains 2.5 servings, a mathematical trap designed for people who forgot how to multiply daily. Unless you share your drink with two invisible friends, you are consuming far more poison than the bright and bold label claimed. A pint of ice cream claims to be 4 servings, which means your dessert is legally supposed to be 3 tiny, pathetic spoonfuls. They make up the rules of measurement, proving that a serving of pizza could legally be a single pepperoni if they wanted. Cooking spray claims 0 calories by defining a serving as a quarter-second blast, a duration shorter than a simple human sneeze today. Try timing a quarter-second in your kitchen while the oil flows freely, exposing the impossible physics of corporate nutrition and legal greed. They legally round down to 0, turning a bottle of liquid fat into a health product through the magic of tiny portions. We are drowning in portions that don't exist, victims of a system that treats our hunger as a variable and a profit. The labels are a hall of mirrors, reflecting only the small truths, while the giant lies remain hidden in the dark corners. You finish the can, but the label only admitted to half of the crime, leaving you alone with the heavy, uncounted calories. Put down the telescope and realize that serving sizes are just a legal fiction designed to make the massive look very small. In the balance of truth versus profit, your health is the weight that always gets discarded by the clever men in suits. Entering number 10, where a glistening burger is a plastic masterpiece choreographed by food stylists to feed your eyes but starve souls. That perfect advertising melt is actually industrial motor oil and white glue, carefully arranged to trick your brain into wanting total poison. Corporate stylists earn 6-figure salaries to paint raw meat and spray hairspray on vegetables, ensuring nothing you see is actually edible now. The law smiles at this deception because of 4 magic words buried at the bottom, telling you that your eyes are lying. It is like going on a date with a 10-year-old profile picture, a digital ghost that bears no resemblance to the actual reality. Real syrup soaks in too fast for the camera, so they use thick motor oil to maintain that golden, delicious, and deadly. In the world of commercials, milk is actually white glue, because the real thing makes cereal soggy before the first flash fires. A single advertisement burger takes 4 hours to arrange, costing more than your monthly rent just to produce a beautiful, legal hallucination. You buy the dream but receive the nightmare, a soggy collection of ingredients that never stood a chance against the marketing budget. The legal disclaimer is a shield for the greedy, a small whisper that allows them to shout 1,000 lies with total. They feed the eyes because the stomach is too easy to please, proving that we are all just victims of a visual. Every sesame seed is placed with surgical precision using tweezers, a level of care that your actual food will never ever receive. We are trained to consume the image, forgetting that the most beautiful things in the world are often the most toxic ones. Always remember, when the picture looks too perfect, you are probably staring at a collection of industrial chemicals and very expensive lies. We have walked through the museum of legal deception, where the corporations write the rules and you pay the price in gold. The war between greedy systems and clever minds is a story without end, but knowledge is the only shield that remains truly. If you want to keep finding the cracks in every wall, hit the subscribe button and join our tribe of clever rebels. Drop a comment about your favorite corporate lie, like this video, and share it with those who refuse to live in darkness. Stay curious, stay rebellious, and remember that no system is too strong for a mind that is brave enough to look outside. The theater of lies is always open, but now you have the eyes to see through the curtain. Until next time, stay.